All right, y'all. It's Friday, November 1st, and I want to do a quick little fall update video here. I'm here in Florida, but I'm actually leaving to Honduras tomorrow for a family trip, but I'm also going to be working some, so I definitely want to do some update videos. So I kind of want to hop on the video train again. I've been a little bit stagnant. I've been traveling a lot this summer. I went to Honduras for 3 weeks in September, Oregon for 2 weeks in October, and now I'm about to go for 10 days to Honduras. So it's been a little bit back-to-back travel, so I haven't really been here in Florida much for enough time at once to gain momentum in any of my projects, too much momentum, so yeah, try to escape some of the humidity, mosquitoes, and hurricanes of the summertime. So after this trip to Honduras, I'll be back a little bit more full-time in Florida. But I just want to jump right into this video. And first, actually, I just want to say how much I appreciate all the support of the people buying from the Etsy shop and my own website shop. And as someone who's somewhat of a Luddite, it's just blowing my mind that I can just fund my projects and my dreams just by shipping things in the mail. That's pretty cool. But I also want to say that I will be putting a donation page on my website finally, in case you do want to support my land regeneration projects, but don't necessarily want to buy something from the shop. Or I travel a lot, and so shipping delays are something that you have to deal with when you order from me, unfortunately, because I'm just all over the place. So if you just want to straight up support the Honduras project and land regen projects that I have here in Florida as well, then it's on the website now. So yeah, super grateful. This is cool. I'm so glad I'm able to do this work and be able to pay my bills doing it. So anyways, let's get into what fall has been here in Florida. Hurricane Helene and Milton both affected Florida this year. Big time damage. My heart goes out to everyone who was really affected. We got pretty spared here in Naples, so I feel extremely grateful for that. It was definitely a bit eye opener for sure this season. And I saw a graphic where it said we had 77 inches of rain here in the Estates this year, which is record breaking, at least in recorded time, I guess. And yeah, it's nice to see some drier conditions and some not so humid conditions right now that it's fall. So what I did for the hurricane was I pruned a lot of things back that were just really susceptible to getting hurricane damage. So a lot of the bananas I pruned heavily, so, and papayas and things like that, and there wasn't too much damage here in this food forest. Miri's property got a little bit more damage just because of the nature of it's a little bit more of an exposed area, and she has so many plants, so I've yet to do an update there, but things look a little bit more raggedy over there for sure. But I'll talk about the food forest in a bit. What I really want to do an update on is the area that I've been clearing these past few weeks. In the little bits of time that I had been in Florida, I'm in the transition of getting a new truck, but there's some repairs that need to be done, an electrical issue that just needs to be repaired. So I've kind of been without transportation, kind of been in a weird limbo mode here at the house. So I've been taking advantage and working over here. This is this huge area of Brazilian pepper and just very unmanaged system over there that I've been creeping my way in over the years. So I want to update that more than anything. I just want to do a quick little starfruit update. Finally, this grafted starfruit is producing. It got nipped by the deer like multiple times when it was growing up, so it's been struggling, but it's finally made its way up. No irrigation at all. Finally starting to pump. It's a carry or a Shri or a not the Shri companion. Dang it, what's the other one? It's one of those famous Florida varieties. Grafted. Okay, so here is the new area that I've been working on, and it's been having a lot of progress. This is what it looked like before. I'll see if I can link a video. Bunch of muscadines, bunch of Caesar weed, bunch of Brazilian pepper, and it just was hard to get back here. But now I put tons and tons of banana biomass, and there are certain things that are starting to happen. One, the Caesar weeds are starting to be kept in control, so that's one of the main things I wanted to do here. And another thing was I just wanted to establish plants. I didn't have a plan. I just threw whatever plants I had on hand. So Mexican sunflower row, you can see here. That's always a nice one. There's one here, and there's not really any rhyme or reason. It's just kind of like whatever lines I can fit, I fit into there. Jack beans have been doing really nicely, like shading out some of the Caesar weeds. And yeah, it was really interesting to see this landscape for the first time and see like how it interacts with water, and because that's always a thing that you want to think about when working with landscapes. You don't want to just have a plan immediately for this next part of the property if you don't really know what it looks like in a rainy season, what it looks like where does the water drain to. And it's nice to have a year where you're able to study it and just kind of have plants that don't really matter much to you, that you can get rid of if you want to replace them. So that's kind of what I like to do. Put a whole bunch of certain species in here and let it see what happens during the first year, and then go from there. So yeah. So I cleared all this, put a lot of banana biomass. There's a lot of cassavas as well. Certain trees there. The natives are starting to come back up as well from the disturbance. This is American beautyberry. It's one of the first ones to come up. This crazy, and just look at all the biomass has been producing. This is all like Brazilian pepper. So here's an oak, a native oak that was hiding in the Brazilian pepper overgrowth. So this Brazilian pepper was the main culprit. Look at this beast. Wow, I really absolutely love the crazy growth habit of Brazilian peppers out here. They're just so insane how much they grow. It's really a humbling experience to manage these Brazilian peppers and see how resilient they actually are. It's amazing. But yeah, I've been doing tons of opening up. It's a good time of year to do this. There's a lot less mosquitoes. This is where water accumulates, so it's hard to even access over here during the rainy season. The mosquitoes are absolutely bonkers out here during the rainy season, so it's one of my favorite times of year. This transition time between the rainy season and the dry season, where it's not so dry and desiccated, and like everything's just not looking too hot. We just came off a record-breaking rainy season, so things are still green, but there's not too many mosquitoes, so it's like, it's the best time to work out here in Florida. I love it, and manage these systems here. So we did a lot of the accumulation of biomass, and it's really cool to see the terrain now, in a sense. Like when it's all crazy like that, it's hard to see the undulations. It's hard to see where the landscape. It's hard to read the landscape, I guess is what I'm trying to say, because you can't really see the bottom all that well. But when you do clear, you can sort of see the bigger picture. You can see that water comes in and from that side and kind of trickles down into here, which is the low spot. And it's really cool to see the biomass accumulation kind of carve the landscape, in a sense. Like, and whenever you choose pathways, it sort of shapes the landscape. It's hard to see on film, but it's one of my favorite things to do. So here's a big deposition of organic matter in here too. So now when water comes, it's going to fork around these two and kind of trickle in here. And same deal here. It's gonna kind of come around here and trickle in here. It's gonna have to fight this erosion and water. It's gonna have to fight this big piece of biomass right here. And it's really cool. It's actually cool to see that. It's one of my favorite aspects about. And here too, you see it's kind of like channeling into this low spot here. The beaver dam analog technique is one that I think is just like a low-hanging fruit in terms of land management, and I'm absolutely in love with beaver dam analogs, and seeing their impact on landscape is so cool to me. If I were I would be super content with just being like a park ranger if I was just had the conservationist side of me, just like making trails and clearing invasives and letting natives come back. But I am a farmer at the end of the day, so doing this type of work really feeds my conservationist soul. So managing the Brazilian pepper is really interesting because it goes to show how much the Brazilian pepper is doing for the ecosystem behind its malicious look and behind all the reasons why it is bad, for Florida. And a lot has to do with just the amount of natives that are found underneath. It's said that Brazilian pepper discourages native growth, which is true. There's a lot of sun-loving, fast-growing stuff that Brazilian peppers don't let grow, or they compete with them, and it's very true. It's an issue, but there is also a lot of natives that benefit from being underneath the crazy canopy of Brazilian pepper that you wouldn't otherwise see. So here's native myrcene, Cuban myrcene, and there was a wild coffee here that I had to cut just because it was getting trampled. But those are species that you find. Oh yeah, and then oaks, like I said, there's a bunch of oaks seedlings that are coming up, and those are species that you find in like established oak hammocks here, native oak hammocks. So I'll try to put a picture of a Florida oak hammock, and it's one of my favorite biomes here in Florida. There's a place that I go to that I love to explore the trails in and get a lot of inspiration from, out in the Picayune Strand State Forest. They have some well-established oak hammocks there that are just so beautiful, so diverse, and beautiful overstory of sable palms and oaks, and the behemoth pines that are still there. I kind of like using those as a framework to see to help manage these landscapes. So yeah, on one end, the Brazilian pepper is definitely not letting the more prairie species, the more like pine prairie natives to proliferate because of all that shade, but it does let these sort of higher succession natives hang out. They don't thrive, obviously. They're getting stressed by the Brazilian pepper on top of them, but it's not about the leaf and foliage, it's about the roots a lot of time with these species. As long as the roots are still there, the Brazilian pepper doesn't completely exterminate them. The roots are still in the ground, and so all you need is just a disturbance, and you'll see that the natives come back. So it's really cool in that sense. Another sense is how much functional wood it provides. Brazilian pepper is just so prolific in terms of biomass production, and I'm collecting some firewood for this season. There's not too many weeks in a year where it's nice to have a fire out here in Florida, but when it is, it's really nice. It's super nice to have bonfires out here, and living a life with bonfires is very important to me. So I always like to harvest as much firewood as I can. I can't wait to get going on this management here, to get some more firewood and potentially wood for carving. I'm gonna experiment with that. So it's a really awesome feeling managing Brazilian pepper. It's so slow, it's so hard to do. There's a lot of poison ivy everywhere. I got poison ivy on my belly button right now. It's very uncomfortable. You can poke your eye out pretty easily with all this mess here. It really, really does suck. But man, the result is so amazing. Super, super amazing. I love the result. The way it just opens things up, the way there's been an accumulation of biomass in the ground for so long. The amount of resources that it provides, it's just, I love that part of it all. And yeah, I guess I'll just show a little bit of what I work with out here in the bush. I'm a big fan of having a lot of tools with you because it's nice to not put too much wear on any one tool. So I bring out, this is good for yanking vines and cutting them because it has that hook. The machete is obviously super versatile in so many ways, but that's the 18-inch. This is the 22-inch right here, and this is a game changer, having a 22-inch machete out in the woods, because I keep my tools sharp, don't get me wrong, but whenever I'm up against, say, like right here, there's a lot of dried vines, there's a lot of dry snappy material, like twiggy material, that I don't really want to ruin the edge on my other machetes on. So I could just kind of, because the 18-inch is a lot easier to wield. So the 22-incher, it's a little heavier. The distance is longer, so you don't have to be so close to this stuff. So it's easy to just kind of let the weight of obviously I'm doing it with one hand and not showing the results, but it's easy to just let the weight of the big machete kind of do the work for you, and you can keep your hands loose and kind of just like swing back and forth and get some of those dead vines out of the way. So yeah, I'm just a big fan of having a lot of different tools, just so you don't wear that one favorite machete out as quick as possible, very fast. I've also been doing more trail clearing back here. I'm very interested. This is obviously the upland here, and then it dips down. This is where I would be planting things. And yeah, this was a long time coming. I'm super happy that I can just walk back here now. There's a lot of access. This was full of all those weeds, like I said. Still plenty of poison ivy. And I'm very interested in growing a lot of shade-loving things back here. There's a possibility that actually a good possibility, most likely, that I will not be living in Florida for parts of the year. I'll be going to Oregon to be back with my partner for most of the year, and then coming back here in the fall/winters to make a little money during the season here. And I really want to be able to grow a bunch of things that just can grow all summer without too much care. And Zinziberaceae and all the different types of gingers and all that stuff, and turmerics, and a lot of those bulb type things grow very well in this sort of environment. And I really love growing those things. I kind of want to specialize in growing some of those heliconia type stuff. And so this is what I've been doing here, managing this so that I can have places to plant. And of course, it's a riparian project at the end of the day, this pond here. So that's going to help that as well. So that's kind of the idea with this strip here. And also a fire hazard kind of cleanup. It's easy to forget when it's rainy season that we can get bone dry here, and fires can be a very big issue for us here. So this whole corridor now is fire safe for the most part. A lot of the fire ladders, which are the old dried vines, come down and are able to, if we do have a fire, it's going to come from back there. The fire isn't going to have enough fuel to continue for the most part. Obviously there's still a lot of dead Brazilian pepper that needs to get managed, but you can only do so much. So this is the next phase of what I need to do. Pretty much anything dead is a very easy framework to base your management around. Just get rid of everything that's dead, and you'll see just how much of a difference that would make to a forested landscape. So that's this little back project. And now, if there's anything of interest here, not really. Like I said, this was just hey, let's try to choke out the Caesar weed, because Caesar weed sucks big time. It's one of the worst invasive weeds to deal with. So yeah, and it's been working. There's a lot less Caesar weed here than there was before. I'm very glad. And a lot more banana biomass too. So the cool thing about these the Zinziberaceae and all these like rhizomatic plants, like here's a galangal, is that you can plant them in the wintertime. I plant them right now and it's gonna come up there. So just defining planting areas is also something that I have been doing back here. So that's everything's a slow cooker approach to agroforestry with me. So now we're back into the actual food forest. Got a nice cloud, got some nice shade. I wish it would go away though, so you can see the contrast of shade and light. And yeah, like I said, I just been managing for hurricane preparedness, so a lot of the bananas are down. And yeah, there's still the tiniest bit of summer hanging on. Actually, there's a lot hanging on, but these are infamous for drying up. So it's just cool to see that some shampoo gingers are still kicking this time of year. Super stoked to populate that back area with tons of shampoo ginger. Shampoo ginger is one of my favorite plants of all time. And that whole family is one of my favorite families of all time. So yeah, things are green. Everything loved the 77 inches that we got this year. Here's the Guanacaster from Honduras doing its thing. Heliconias are starting to pop. So it's getting to that point where the Mexican sunflowers and all the other early succession species are just not cutting it anymore. There's way too much shade. There's way too much of a micro climate here that the next phase of species need to start coming up. So that's where all these heliconias are starting to come into play. That's where the katuk comes into play. That's where I always forget this name here, not Sansevieria. Yeah, the corn, I forget what it's called, but you know what I'm talking about. You can see here, this soursop here is hanging out and liking the microclimate of this system. Super dense canopy, keeping it shaggy for the winter coming up. Oh, another thing I did was I tried to manage as much as I can up there, because there were, you see that? A lot of these corymbias are seeding and are starting to go to seed, and I really don't want that. I really like these corymbias, but I don't want them spreading anywhere. And I want these to be utilized for their purpose. And I knocked down a bunch of the seed pods, but there's still more to knock down, and I should start harvesting some. And that's, I guess, another thing I want to talk about. It's, you got to be super realistic with yourself and know when you should put things down and when you shouldn't. Like this corymbia, in my mind, it's starting to seed, and I really don't need it to get any bigger than this. You know, I really want to keep it maybe a little bit for this winter. But there's already so many things coming up. A mango here, canistel here, that I can, harvest it. And that's what I planted this for. I planted this for not only the microclimate aspect of it and the biomass, but so I can harvest the wood, firewood, and for craft wood and stuff like that. Like I'm a wood farmer, so as well. So I can let it get bigger for sure, but also I can harvest it there. And there will be many more to harvest, and it's not light work handling, chainsawing down bigger trees. So It's easy to fall in love with those eucalyptus varieties, the ones that go straight up and produce so much biomass and all this, that, and the third. It's what hooks you in when you first start learning about syntropic theory and stuff. It's like, oh my God, it's so cool to grow all these trees. But you got to know that you're going to do something with them. And the longer you wait, the harder it's going to be. You're going to need a bigger chainsaw. You're going to need, the impact is going to be greater when it falls. So maybe certain trees, like here's a nice Aki that's above my head now. Might feel the impact. Like you got to be skilled, you know, in your arborist skills to like handle bigger trees. So, and I'm not the most skilled arborist, so I'm just getting to that point where a lot of these corymbias, I'm like, I don't really need them. Same with this China berry here. I've been doing a good job of keeping it pruned for sure, but that's another one I don't want to set seed. I think it's very easy for syntropic practitioners to romanticize the invasive species that they work with, and not respect them fully to the point where you really need to manage them, and they're here to benefit the system, not to benefit themselves. So the earlier that they exit the system, the better. You're not trying to, as a syntropic practitioner, you're not trying to grow service species. You're trying to grow a certain crop, hopefully, and using those service species or support species is the deal, not trying to grow them. So anyways, long spiel, but yeah, I haven't really been in the filming groove lately, so I'm sure I rambled on and didn't really get to all the points that I wanted to get to. But the important thing was that check the donation page if you find the videos that I make helpful, or just whatever, and you want to support my work, then yeah, that was the main thing I wanted to get across. And then the managing in the back. There's a million things that I can say about managing back there in the bush, but my brain is not organized enough right now to make those videos. So yeah, anyways, thanks again for all the support. I'm gonna be doing a lot more videos back in when I'm back in Honduras. I'm very excited to show the house areas and all our accommodations, because I'm trying to transition more of my time to Honduras as well. And I'm very stoked about the progress we're making out there. And yeah, that's all. So leave you off at that, just chipping away, trying to turn this Brazilian pepper infested backyard into a mini Florida state park with some cool edibles and other plants along with it. So that's it.